Hi guys, this is F channel. How you doing? I know it's been a long time I didn't make any videos, but that's purely because financial team decided to furlough most of the team members, so I had no one to help me with making the videos. Anyway, in this video we're going to talk about The Catcher in the Rye by G.D. Salinger. Let's crack on. So I have the physical copy here of The Catcher in the Rye, and
Rye.
you know that my budget is very limited, and by the suggestion of the financial team I have to buy second-hand books, and I end up buying the second-hand book from Amazon, and it's from a library, and I think we'll zoom this here. And I don't know, is it stolen from the library or library decided to sell it? So if this library is missing a book, they can contact me. I don't mind giving it back, regardless that the financial team paid for it. Anyway, I first want to give a few facts, and I'll dive in with my how can I say it, my interpretation of the book. The book is firstly published partly, and after in 1951 is published like a whole. The novel shows the gap between the teenagerhood and adulthood, and how so many people falls in that gap. I like the book because it's written boldly and sometimes judgmentally. The other thing I like is how the book exposes the fakeness of people and the copy-paste mentality some of them have. What I don't like is that sometimes it's too judgmental, and in certain parts is, lacks of hope. The language that it's used and the way it's written is, I think, represents the period of which the novel is written, and it's how can I say, it's very, what's the word, argot, like use a lot of slang terms. Some of them I didn't know when I had to research. The story is about a 16-year-old boy called Holden who struggles to blend in, and he's thrown out of a really posh school called Pensy. How posh? Because he's not performing really well at most of the subjects except English. And he has some troubles with his schoolmates, so he decides to leave early. And he has actually really rough weekend in New York City. So alcohol, cigarettes, pimps, prostitutes, cross-dressers, you name it. Sounds like a dream for some teenagers, but it's not really like that. Some of the themes which are explored in the book are communicated straight out of the main character's head, and they are adulthood, sexuality, religion. Religion is actually mentioned very briefly, but Holden makes a little comment regarding the religious subject, which I agree with it. He makes a comment about what people do around Christmas, and he makes a comment about the nativity scene. I know, and it's very pretty and all, but I can't see anything religious or pretty, for God's sake, about a bunch of actors carrying crucifix all over the stage. And this is my favorite. I said Jesus probably would puke if he sees that. I think Jesus would definitely puke if he sees how people behave around Christmas. So Holden shares his interaction with his friends, with some of his teachers, and very emotional ones with his little sister Phoebe, which I think is the only a person that puts a smile on his face. The protagonist's character development, we can see the way he judges the situations that he put himself into. For example, when he agrees to meet with the prostitute, and when the prostitute arrives, he doesn't want to give her the time, and that's because he wants emotional connection, not only sex. And we can see that he analyzes his previous choices. Regarding the settings, I can say it's a very Sex in the City, like absolute New York City romance, like Fifth Avenue, Central Park, Rockefeller Center, the Cops and all. And because it's winter time, the cold is mentioned a lot, and I think that's a reflection of the emotional situation of the main character. When I was young adult, I worked in the nightclub, and there was this regular customer, cool customer, or at least he thought he's cool. And one night he shared with me a quote, and back at that time I think my customer service was a little bit better, and I give him like idea that I was impressed. And he told me that quote, which sounded very profound, was from the Catcher in the Rye, and he told me that if I haven't read it, I should read it. And it's been over 15 years since that memory, and whilst I was reading the book, I had high expectation, and I was trying to make the connection between the name of the book and the message that it wants to give us. The name of the book refers to the intention and the dream of the main character to save the innocency of children, and we see that in action when he desperately tries to remove, scrub or delete the swear words from the walls of a school where his little sister Phoebe goes. Regardless the fact that he's trying to save children, he actually needs to save himself. You know, all that cigarettes and cold weather and other shit. I personally find the message of the book in the sentence that one of his teachers, Antolini, makes, and I will read it out for you, and you make sure that you write it down. Many men have been just as troubled morally and spiritually as you are right now. Happily, some of them kept records of their troubles. You'll learn from them if you want to. What he's trying to say, I think, is that we are not only one that have problems, and where we are and where we're going, someone is already been and left traces. And also the following that so many of us, not only Holden, is fearing is inevitable. Sooner or later we will fall. That's not an alcohol, just water. Anyway, you must read this book. because it's funny and also shows the struggle of becoming adult and how much not fun that is. I would like to include little gossip because I have to Google certain things to find a little bit information about Salinger, and in order to understand the book a little bit more. And he is a very weird person, I would say, but some things were funny. For example, this book is linked to few crimes. For example, John Lennon's death, some other assassinations and stuff, and there's conspiracy theories and a lot of other things, but I don't think we should go into them. But the juiciest gossip I discovered was that Salinger had a girlfriend and he went to the army to do his military service or whatever he's doing in the army. That was during the Second World War. So he left his girlfriend, he went to the war, and when he came back, his girlfriend actually married Charlie Chaplin. How sad is that? Hey ho, if you read the book, I highly recommend it. No, if you haven't read the book, I highly recommend it. I'm sure that every adult will find a piece of himself in the book. And if you read it, please write a message what you think about Holden, and do you think he's judgmental, and did you show sympathy towards him, and what for exactly? There's a lot of things I can tell, share with you about the book, but I just decided to limit it to this. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you in the future videos. Thank you for watching. Bye.